He's made some conscious decisions to make it difficult, at odds with almost everyone else in the party.
Now at 5, calling out the leader of the state Senate. The move Governor Braun is now considering as he looks for a way to get lawmakers to discuss redistricting next month.
At least 4 Republican state senators targeted, the swatting investigation that now is underway.
Rain is on the way. It's going to be a soggy Friday. I'll have the timeline in your forecast. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
Well, tonight, Governor Braun says he would support a change in leadership in the state Senate, and it's part of a growing Republican divide on redistricting.
13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker has the very latest on this ongoing debate over what should now happen next.
Yeah, this week the Senate voted in favor of not coming back into this building until January 5th. That's weeks after the deadline would pass to hold a special session on redistricting. And today, Governor Mike Braun laid that at the feet of Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray, saying that he believed Bray was trying to shut down the issue of redistricting being taken up. It was just Tuesday morning when Governor Mike Braun, House Speaker Todd Huston, and Senate President Pro Tem Roderick Bray sat together at an event in the State House. Just days after the Senate voted to not reconvene for a special session on redistricting, though, Governor Braun said he'd support Bray being replaced as its leader.
I'm getting to that point.
Braun also said he'd support any primary challenges to legislators who didn't support redrawing the state's congressional districts.
I think it does carry political consequences. You can do it and stand on that hill, but then you're going to have to defend it.
Senator Bray has. After Tuesday's vote, he told reporters that many in his caucus didn't think redistricting was the way to gain more Republican seats in Congress.
A number of our caucus members, myself included, don't see this as a binary choice between the 7-2 ratio they have right now and redistricting and getting to an automatic 9-0.
House Speaker Todd Huston told reporters redistricting wasn't dead in the House and asked members to keep the first 2 weeks of December open.
I think Rod needs to do the simple thing, get in line, at least bring it to a public discussion in his own chamber. And I think if that occurs, it's a different vote count, too.
Governor Braun has also said he's looking at ways to force the Senate to meet and deal with redistricting.
The way I read the Constitution and the laws and even the Senate procedures, I'm not sure the governor has any option.
IU professor and former Republican mayor of Fort Wayne, Paul Helmke, now an independent, says there's nothing in the Indiana Constitution that gives the governor authority to force the Senate to convene. Only the leaders of each chamber can do that, said Helmke, through something called anti-bolting procedures, which gives leaders in the House and Senate the authority to bring charges against a legislator who doesn't show up for work. In the Senate's case, that's Senator Bray. But he's already indicated with his vote on Tuesday he supports not coming back until the first week of January. So what if some senators do show up to the State House those first 2 weeks in December anyway?
You could theoretically have a group show up on December 1, argue that and if Rod Bray doesn't show, argue that his absence means that he's in effect vacated the seat and select somebody new.
But Helmke says under the current rules of the Senate, a move like that comes with notice requirements and likely would face challenges in court. As for where the governor stands on Bray,
he's made some conscious decisions to make it difficult, at odds with almost everyone else in the party. So he'll have to deal with that. Hopefully he'll come around. It's not too late to do it, and we'll see what happens.
The governor was asked if he had anyone in mind as a replacement for Senator Bray as leader. He said no. So could some senators show up here in December? Well, we talked to one who says she plans to. We'll bring you that tonight at 6 at the Indiana State House. Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Thank you, Emily. And we know tonight that at least 4 Republican state senators have been the targets of swatting attempts, perhaps because of their perceived opposition to a special session for redistricting.
Indiana State Police now have an open investigation. Rich Nye joins us with a growing list of Republican state lawmakers victimized by these false reports to our area police.
The name swatting comes from trying to get the SWAT team to show up. Swatting is when someone contacts police, tries to get them to show up at a particular address with a large law enforcement presence under the guise of an imminent danger, but there is no real threat to anyone. 4 state senators have been targeted. Greg Good of Terre Haute, Dan Durnell of Highland, Rick Niemeyer from Lowell, and Spencer Deary of West Lafayette. The swatting incidents began Saturday around 5 p.m. in Terre Haute. 2 more swatting attempts happened Wednesday and another just this morning, all against Republican state senators who have not come out in support of redistricting.
I don't know what that motivation is. It appears on its face that yes. However, we have to go on what we know, not what we think. So that's one of those things that we're going to continue to investigate.
Because of similar multiple incidents across the state, Indiana State Police have taken over the investigations. The false emergency reports can come by phone, email, text, other internet messaging. Tracking down the source will determine if this is a state or federal crime and exactly what the charges could be. And tonight at 6, I'll have the governor's latest comments about these swatting incidents and how they come beside his comments that we just heard off the top of our newscast.
Can you imagine being a lawmaker and kind of getting this signal of, one, we know where you live, and also you're there with your family. So now your profession, whatever stance you've taken, now potentially your family's involved and could be at risk.
Yeah, well, obviously we don't know, but I'm really hoping it's just a lone person that they can, of course, get under control.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Rich, thank you for reporting. And this swatting investigation, as well as the debate around redistricting, will be the hot topics in this weekend's new episode of Crossroads Politics, which you can watch at 10 o'clock Sunday mornings on WTHR+.
We are following some breaking news for you tonight at 5. In fact, in just the last 2 hours, a federal judge ordered President Trump's administration to end the deployment of National Guard troops to Washington, D.C.
So this order comes a little more than 24 hours since Governor Braun announced the deployment of 300 Hoosier Guard members headed to D.C. next month. The judge says the military takeover to police the nation's capital violates the Constitution, and she says it illegally intrudes on the authority of local law enforcement.
Happening now, family, friends, and the Frankfort community all coming together to grieve and remember a Hoosier National Guard member who was killed in a crash last week. The visitation for Sergeant Terry Fry, scheduled until 8 o'clock tonight, is at the Day and Genda Funeral Home in Frankfort. The funeral then tomorrow morning at 11 at the Frankfort First Church of the Nazarene. The burial will follow. The community is invited to come out and line the streets as the procession heads to the cemetery. We want to show you the video of the aftermath of that crash. It was last week along I-65 southbound in Boone County. The 23-year-old died after the Humvee that he was riding in with 3 other guardsmen rolled over on the interstate. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
Well, tomorrow there will be a public visitation for Delaware County Sheriff's deputy killed in the line of duty. The service for Corporal Blake Reynolds is scheduled from 2 until 7 o'clock in the evening, 2 in the afternoon to 7. It's at Grace Baptist Church in Muncie. The funeral will follow at 10 o'clock Saturday morning at Delta High School. Corporal Reynolds died a little over a week ago in a crash on I-69 North. He was helping a stopped semi, and that's when police say the driver of another truck hit him.
Cloudy skies again in the 40s. We have 47 in Indianapolis and Noblesville, 48 Greensburg, and 46 degrees in Crawfordsville. These clouds will stick around at times, low clouds and fog, especially once the sun goes down. Temperatures will be nearly steady in the middle and upper 40s. Grab the umbrella for tomorrow, 48 at 7 a.m., 51 at noon. Highs tomorrow expected 50 to 55 with some rain around. You can see the rain building to our south and southwest. All of this is moving our way. It's going to be dry for us this evening, but anytime after 10, 11 o'clock, a few showers south. Best chance will come after midnight, and as we get into, unfortunately, that Friday morning drive, rain will have an impact tomorrow morning. More on that in the forecast.
Thanks, Angela. Tonight, the Department of Public Works will present their updated snow removal plans to the Public Works Committee of the Indianapolis City County Council.
So remember last year when side streets went unplowed for days? Well, outrage led to a new ordinance.
As a result, there's now a new plowing threshold for streets classified as either a thoroughfare, as a connector, or residential.
We heard from the Public Works Committee, and they were hearing from residents as they wanted a more clear understanding of what will be plowed and when, and specifically residential roadways. And this gives a bit more certainty to that response. Now, obviously, we're going to still continue to take a full view of weather conditions leading up to, day of, and afterwards in a snowstorm.
Meeting is tonight as the department lays out its snow removal approach for the rest of the year. The Hamilton County area now making sure that $500,000 that is coming in from an opioid settlement is being put to good use.
$20,000 of it goes to a recovery program at the Hamilton County Jail. Our Ella Rhodes spoke with a program participant on how it shapes her recovery.
A deep breath, as simple as it sounds, goes a long way to settle how you feel. It's a tool Leah Mitchell uses every day.
For me, I think it's great because it wakes up these parts of your brain and in your body and gets you back into spirituality.
For 8 weeks at the Hamilton County Jail, Mitchell participates in Ignite Transform. The program gives women tools to use on their road to recovery from substance abuse.
No matter how many times I've tripped up, I'm not a lost cause. There are people out there to help us. They also provide resources, support.
Through physical activity, yoga, and therapy, she gains skills to use on the outside to not only continue her sobriety, but live a balanced life.
It's helped to rebuild my thinking. It's retrained me, like, mentally. Physically, I'm definitely feeling it.
Beverly Howerly and Rochelle Vaughn are the program instructors.
Women are us.
Yeah.
They just went down the wrong path, and they're here and they're human, and they deserve all of the stuff that we can provide for them.
The women use the skills now to help with anxiety and to communicate better with other inmates.
They are fighting for their life, and so we are trying again to give them that hope and that freedom to move forward, to know that they can be a part of society and they can bring a lot to the table with what they've been through.
The program's therapist, Melanie Short, says this funding benefits not only these women.
It impacts the whole community in a positive way, because then people can come out and start living their life, contributing.
And taking a deep breath might help you stay there. In Noblesville, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
Mitchell tells Ella that when she gets released from jail, she plans to join Ignite Transform at their Noblesville gym. At the end of the 8 weeks, another 10 women will start the program at the jail.
Ahead of Thanksgiving, the State Poultry Association is now making sure those in need get poultry products. In fact, they gathered at the Indiana State House today to highlight some of what they've donated so far. We're talking 833 dozen eggs given to food pantries, as well as $620,000 worth of chicken, duck, and poultry products, as well as $650,000 to community causes. These are all donations coming in from companies that started as small family farms. And it comes during this year when we've seen bird flu outbreaks all across the state, and that's impacting companies just like them. They shared how these companies now are coming together and helping each other.
A company that has had the misfortune to experience high path firsthand on their farms reaches out to a company new to the experience and provides a listening ear, informed advice, and assurances they'll get through it.
It's big business here. Indiana leads the nation in duck production, is third in egg production, and fourth in turkey production.
Well, more coming up. The Colts return to action this weekend in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a road trip. Eli Gain will walk us through the mindset that they're taking into that matchup against the Chiefs. Plus, being transparent with the public.
How you can use a new Metro Police website for tracking crime where you live. First at 5. Investigating a deadly UPS plane crash.
We'll tell you what the NTSB discovered about the engine of that plane. And
you did not know Dick Cheney unless you understood his greatest concerns and ambitions were for his country.
Services today remembering former VP Dick Cheney.
A look back at his 40 years of service to our country.